Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, patch notes are here. Age of Mythology Retold update. This ain't no minor update. This is the one we've all been waiting for. Welcome, heroes, to another exciting update full of bug fixes, stability changes, a brand new Pantheon pin-up event. I'm excited, whatever that means, and new deity portrait controls. What? I'm excited. I don't know what that means, but I'm excited. So take a peek at the notes before jumping in game. True, I haven't jumped in game. I am currently updating my Age of Mythology Retold as we speak. Apparently there was 100 and something megabytes of fun to download. So, you know, always nice. Play to unlock Pantheon Pinup. Today we're announcing a year-long community event for Age of Mythology Retold. We've assembled a host of challenges for players to take on, with every point earned for objectives completed counting towards the rewards. Objectives will vary in difficulty from completing any kind of match to proving mastery on the battlefield with challenging timed feats. Everyone will need to work together to earn the rewards, with monthly score targets in place to unlock cosmetic rewards. Ooh! Cosmetic rewards, anyone? Just me? Can you play your part in reaching the final goal and unlocking new god portraits? That makes me a little bit excited, because I've always wanted to have like my skin on my Ajax to turn him into like a real proper Chad Jax. Do you know what I mean? Any contribution towards the total goal makes you eligible to earn all the rewards unlocked by the community each month. So you just have to show up and play a part. No participation trophies. Come on, guys. We want everyone to be grinding at least 8 hours a day of Age of Mythology. Anyways, play each month to ensure you don't miss any rewards. The event will begin May 1st with 4 new rewards up for grabs. Each month has a chosen theme with which the community works towards unlocking during the previous months. May is focused on unlocking our summer-themed picture of Ra. Oh, that's cute. We'll post on social channels each month about the new rewards and goals, so be sure you're following Age Mythology. Hell yeah. I want a summer-themed Ra. But then again, maybe I want a summer-themed Isis, or maybe a summer-themed Aphrodite, if you know what I mean. Join in with the community and help to achieve the monthly goal. I'm probably covering up this with my face, so I'm going to try not to. Participate by completing objectives each week to maximize your personal contribution to community goal progress. Each month, there will be 4 rewards to achieve as a community. The first reward is collected by participating at least once during the month. The rest are achieved by community total contribution. Participants can claim their rewards during the month following a community event. The major reward for completing the full community goal each month will be a new major god portrait. The first event begins on May 1st. Fantastic! New major minor god portrait controls. You can swap quad portraits in the god picker and compendium to support your new choices. Okay. So we've got skins for our god portraits. I wonder if that shows up in game as well, like in that little icon. That's kind of sick. That's kind of cool. Initially, only players who have legacy portrait. Okay, so you can choose the legacy portraits over. Okay. I'm going to say this sounds cool, but I really want to see some. I want to see some cool stuff. I'm excited. Okay, let's keep going. Stability and performance fixes. Minor improvements for stability and performance. Fixed crashes that could occur in some situations. Fixed a rare multi-threading crash. Fixed a crash that could occur when submitting text using the Steam keyboard. Fixed a crash that could occur when using combined building menu strain units. Fixed a crash that could occur stealth ended. Fixed a crash that could occur when entering or leaving scenarios. Performance improvements when loading into save games. Most is okay. Developer note, we are continuing to investigate and monitor instability some users are experiencing on PlayStation 5. If you're experiencing frequent instability on PlayStation 5, please reach out to support. I'm just going to go out and say it right now. I don't know if it's fixed. I really hope it is, but I've noticed there's been some people really having issues with PlayStation 5. I really hope the PlayStation 5 is working now. I don't see anything necessarily in here that indicates that this is 100% fixed or not. So if you're a PlayStation 5 user, definitely try it. And if it doesn't work, make sure you do send that submission in, put a ticket in, because the more tickets they get, the more priority I think goes towards that kind of stuff. Now, it's a bit funky when like you can't even play the game, but it's definitely something you should be doing. I hope. It's unfortunate because I can't do anything because I don't have a PlayStation 5. I can't even look at it myself. Not that I have any power myself, but anyways, my point is that. Put a ticket in. Achievements. Pickup artist now correctly requires players to win the match to earn the achievement. Fixed translations for PlayStation 5. Minor graphics. Performance improvements on Nezha. Fire Trail. Minor visual improvements were applied to those bridge trees. Okay. Minor Fog of War rendering. Oh, that's nice. Added a missing explosion particle texture. Cool. Adjusted the smoke appearance. Adjusted Dwarven Forge belt. Added a new underwater rock object. Cool. When oracles are selected, the LOS for all oracles on screen is now displayed. Oh, was that not happening? Okay. Didn't even notice. That's what's supposed to happen. Fixed a visual bug that could occur for some walking wood variations that showed an incorrect texture. Okay. Audio. I haven't been experiencing the audio issues that everyone else has. But this sounds like they did a lot on the audio. So again, as with the PlayStation 5 users, if you're having problems with audio still in this patch, this looks like a lot of things that have gone in here, and you don't like what's happened with the audio, make sure you submit a ticket on the forums or on wherever the channels are that they're looking, I don't know, but on the forums and describe what you're not enjoying about the sound. I think that's really important. All right, onwards and upwards. Hotkeys updates to improve movement settings. Oh, that's nice. Fixed a bug that allows invalid hotkey combinations. Okay. Updates to some. Added a missing history. Okay. God blessing shields. Okay. I think this is stuff we can just see in game, but UI getting better. Multiplayer. I'm gonna sneeze. Wow. Completing the daily Celestial Challenge, yada, yada, yada. Multiplayer, okay. Updated scores UI. Scores should now show. Okay, thank you. That was annoying. Okay, Alt F4 after skipping a snack. Okay. Low performance warnings will no longer show. Okay. Okay, Kevin, I'm not sure what all this is. Controller has some stuff. Unfortunately, we're going to get into the stuff. I don't really care. Gameplay. Fixes. Various improvements to AI behavior-related plans. Various fixes to pathfinding, including fixes for units failing to path further than a short distance in some situations. I sincerely hope that this is fixes to games becoming unplayable. I really hope that's what that means. Fixes for units becoming stuck around lakes. Fixes for units not escaping from maze and obstacles. Fixes for units stopping in place. That sounds good. Villagers will no longer stack or linger at drop sites together when they have nothing to gather. Starting age is no longer applied incorrectly in some rare situations. That's weird. World Dragon are properly cancel when the game window isn't in focus. Spectators can now modify speed controls to play faster or slower to match changes made in replays. Okay, nice. Oh, wait. If you catch up while spectating, gameplay will return to normal playback speed. Maximum speed may vary depending on individual system capabilities. There's one thing going on here. I'm not sure if this fixes it or not, where if you're spectating and you put the speed controls up to play fast, you reach the in-game speed, and then when the players resign, it zooms through and finishes. I would kind of prefer that not to happen. I don't know if that's what that means there or not. I definitely haven't raised it, but it's something I've noticed recently. But anyways, I'm just speaking out loud. Thinking out loud. Fixed issues where various embellishment buildings, okay. Drop sites and obelisks will no longer prevent the conversion of objects. Currently, okay. Lightning weapon damage and stun no longer applies to units with divine immunity. Fantastic. That was silly. Basically, the lightning weapons, you'd use it and everything would get stunned. Absolutely bonkers broken. Wen Zong can no longer replicate units with divine immunity. Nice. So that means that the Shenong hero can no longer steal Yinglong, Nidhogg, etc. Caravans can no longer garrison in non-fort buildings. Okay. Fixed a bug where villages do not have bonuses versus certain towers. What's a tower emplacement? Is that the tower camp? Can you now shank down the tower camp? Oh, that's kind of cool. That might make that tower rush with the military barracks a little bit less powerful. That they were doing. Like you saw it a couple of times in the recent tournament. Fixed spoilers of war resource reward for Migdol. Okay, nice. All right, balance. We're in. Holy mackerel! Water meta has just been flipped on its head. Everything is different now. Persane is in the classical age. Salt Amphora is in the heroic age. This is like it was in Legacy. I don't know if this is a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing, but this is a different thing. This is a huge meta shift for water. I can't overstate that. This will be a huge meta shift for water. Good luck. Good luck working it out. Okay, deathmatch. Starting resources reduced from 20,000 to 18,000. Chinese deathmatch build rate from town centers. I watched a very small amount of deathmatch. Unfortunately, I've got no idea what's going on there. I recommend checking out Nakamura's content for deathmatch if you're interested. Tale of Fate removed from the standard relic pool. Yeah, this relic was kind of stupid. I think it would have been a fine relic if it didn't have the poison trail. 4 speed, kind of like the golden lions, you get 2 of them, but then you like pack it into 1 unit that's a little bit less than the 2 of them combined, so you get like 1 unit that's kind of nice, but a little bit weaker than the 2 golden lions or something like that. Would have been an interesting way to go, but removing it for now, interesting. I didn't like the relic at all. So thanks for that. All right, Athena. Sarissa, hoplite damage increased, reduced from 10% to 5%. Wow. Poor Greeks. Developer note. Combined with the changes to the hoplite, we are moving some power budget away from Sarissa into the base unit. So the overall power of Sarissa remains roughly the same. Okay, so there's going to be some extra buffs later on to Sarissa. Athena Labyrinth of Minnows technology. Minotaur movement speed reduced from 20% to 15%. Oh no! My favorite Minotaur shenanigans. What does that mean? So they go from 5.4 speed probably down to like 5.2? Interesting. Ares Pestilence, effective buildings units train time increased from 1.75 to 2x as long. Okay, so Pestilence just got a buff because it was weak. I wonder if this actually makes it any better. Like, obviously, slowing the units down far more is making it more powerful, but does it make it not weak anymore? That's a question. I don't know. Okay. Hephaestus, Forge of Olympus technology adjusts as follows. Technology cost reduced from 60% to 75%. Huge. And also increases armory research speed by 100%. Okay, so Hephaestus comes in and then I guess you'll automatically have all of your armories. You might not even need to place multiple armories down. You could just go with 1. Save on the wood. Probably. And they're all... That's crazy. That's so cheap as well. That's going to be really, really good. I think Hephaestus might... Ooh. Okay, the question is what happens with Shafts of Plague, if anything. That's going to be a really, really interesting one. I think maybe Hephaestus might be really good. Yeah, this isn't automatic. 100% speed means that your armories are working twice as fast. So if you have 1 armory, it's like you got 2 armories, basically. Okay, Hera Lightning Storm, damage reduced per strike from 125 to 100 divine damage. So Lightning Storm got a bit of a hit. Interesting. That's very interesting. We'll see what's happening with this. I've got a little feeling that we're going to see a little bit more than just Lightning Storm getting nerfed in this patch. I've got a little feeling. Cyclops, Ares, adjusts as follows. Crush damage increased from 20 to 24. Bonus damage multiplier versus myth units increased from 2 to 3. Okay, so this Cyclops was already kind of good. And now it's going to be just good. Kind of good to just good. Because now it's going to be able to take out enemy myth units really nicely, as well as be a really powerful building killer, which is kind of cool. This is going to be a really nice unit to use to take down buildings. Soup's Underworld Rush might be very, very powerful, even more powerful now. Okay, Centaur Hermes bonus damage increased from 2 to 3. Okay, so this is an attempt, I guess, to address the problem with myth units, or with Greek having a difficulty against myth units. So now the Greek myth units should deal with mass myth unit spam a little bit easier, as I think this is something that's happening with everything. Manticore is getting a little bit cheaper. Nemean Lion, yep. Everything is just getting that little bit of extra 3x. That's kind of cool. Nemean Lions are actually really good, by the way. If anyone doesn't know, these things slap. So that's going to be nice. And the Colossus as well has a little bit of a boost. Okay, so let's keep going. Jason, bonus damage versus... Okay, so all of the heroes now doing more damage versus flying units, so the ranged attack. So Greek is going to have a little bit more, and the Heracles as well. Greek is going to have a little bit more stuff to deal with those flying units. Heracles is noticeably a lot slower than the other classical. Just bring him in speed. Bring up the speed a little. Should make him more effective. Oh, he got the 5 speed. He got the 5 speed. Heracles is OP now. Okay, and all the weight class was just increased. I could be wrong, but I think what this means is that the heroes will be able to push through units. So they're going to be able to push through, like, so you're not going to be able to body block a Greek hero from killing a myth unit with a whole bunch of, like, spearmen, for example. They're just going to say, get out of my way, you puny spearmen, I am chasing said myth unit. That's very, very cool. Bellerophon was still tall above the other 2 Greek heroes in power and utility, so this change... Wait, hold on. Oh, Bellerophon's hit points went down a bit. Okay. Yeah, Bellerophon was bonkers. Like, I mean, we're so used to watching, like, John Wick perform that we kind of forgot that Bellerophon was bonkers, but 60 HP reduction isn't really going to change how bonkers this unit is. It's still going to be taking things down, but it's just going to die faster. Perseus getting a bit more powerful. Petrified ability now only works on myth units. Okay, this is kind of interesting. So I realize people would be complaining about this because in order to use this ability correctly, you have to actively turn Petrify off autocast and then actively manually use it on the unit you want to. If there was no myth unit, you would want to use it on human soldiers, right? But if there's a myth unit, you definitely want to use it on the myth unit. So it's just a little bit too much micro, I guess. Maybe people are complaining. If you could automatically have Petrify just off to start with, and then you have to manually use it as an option, then that would have been another way to go about it. But okay, this is kind of nice though for Perseus. He's going to always hit those myth units and never waste his charge though. Okay, Polyphemus had a bit of a boost as well. Greek heroes now train 10% faster per age advance. So you're going to be able to get those out a bit quicker. Okay, so here's what they're talking about. The hoplite now goes up to 8 hack. That's a pretty big boost. Like, that is a pretty big boost. That was taken away from Sarissa. So this hoplite for Poseidon is going to be great. And I imagine Ares just got a big boost as well. So, given that the Sarissa has a little bit less stuff. Anyways, let's keep going. Peltas, hit points reduced from 70 to 65. Like that, Peltas were doing way too well. Myrmidon Zeus trade time reduced from 14 to 10. Gastrophedes from 18 to 13. Okay, so the whole idea here is that they just want these units to be actually used. So you're not going to need as many fortresses to build these. They're still really expensive, still hard to mass, but you're going to be able to get some of these out, I guess. Okay, Heliopolis having a bit of a boost as well. All right, Egyptian Pantheon. Baboon of Set. Set players unite. We can now scout the map. Oh, let's go. Set is now OP. All right, Anubis, Plague of Serpents, God Power, Serpent hit points increased from 50 to 60. Let's be completely honest. This God Power went from being insanely powerful on launch to being arguably on par with Pestilence for worst god power in the classical age. So a little bit of a help there is nice. Segment Citadel, favor recost. Okay, I like this. This Citadel is still really, really good. This god power, the recast is game winning. I would have been maybe more happy to see this go back to like 150, because once you get 2 citadels down and your opponent has got 3 town centers, those 2 citadels make you equal on population or something. I can't remember. I remember seeing something and being like, wow, that's a lot of population. So like having 3 citadels up versus 3 you get so much more population, and it's almost like an auto win in some situations. It's very, very good. But nonetheless, a little bit more favor there does make that push that timing back a little bit further. Okay, greatest of the 50 infantry hit points increase reduced from 30% to 20%. Okay, but that's because the spearman got boosted. Wow. Okay. This unit is really, really good. It's going to be insane. That's a huge boost. All right. Spearmen are going to be great. Egyptians have noticeably been struggling a bit, especially through set Anubis options. Increasing the spearman's power a little should help synergize better with this style of play. Okay. Hear that, guys? Egyptians are having some trouble, so that's what's happening there. We should probably look at the actual win rates from the last thing. We'll do that afterwards and see if everything has been sort of... We'll give out... Okay, never mind. We'll just keep going. Axeman adjusts as follows. Hit points increase from 70 to 80, but... Oof. I'm already worried for... Okay, well, I'm not going to judge just yet. Oh, its bonus damage went down versus infantry. Okay. Okay. This is... I'm not sure how to like unpack this. So I don't know if this is a buff or a nerf on the Axeman, or just like a rearrange. Because it's a heavy hit to actually DPS. But it does mean that the counter to Axeman, so for example for Norse, counter to Axeman is raiding cavalry, are now going to do much worse against this unit. So this is like a buff for the Axeman versus raiding cavalry. But a nerf... No, I don't know. I guess throwing Axeman are going to do better against the... No. I'm not sure. I can't understand what's going on here. Okay, Slinger adjusts as follows. Slinger cost reduced from 60 wood to 55 wood. The 25 gold stays the same. Slinger train time goes down. Pierce armor goes up. Slinger hit points reduced from 65 to 60. Okay, so this... The Slinger just became better against pierce damage dealing units. Or keeps the HP similar. I can't do the math on this. Someone can do the math for me. So the pierce armor goes up, meaning they should do better against pierce damage dealing units. But their hit points go down, which means they're going to die really, really easily or quickly to hack damage dealing units, which I think is a good thing. Having this be a very, very specific... Having the Slinger have a very specific role of counter archer is good. I wonder if this means that you're not going to be able to counter the Slinger with Bonebow chariots anymore. As we see, the Bonebow chariots have now... Not the Bonebow chariots, but the chariots have now been buffed. So they just got a little bit more damage. My opinion on the Chariot Archer in general is that I think it should be a... This is just my opinion. Everyone's entitled to theirs, but I think this should be a specific unit that you build when your opponent is building infantry. If they aren't building infantry, I should not be building Chariot Archers. Now, that might not work for the entirety of the game, and that's why we need to see some other stuff going into it to sort of account for sort of situations where you might need to have like the Chariot Archer there to kill a unit that you might not think counters it, but it needs to counter it because you don't have anything else sort of situation. Those do exist from time to time. So so long as this Chariot Archer doesn't become, I can just switch off and just spam it like was before. So that before it got nerfed, it was just, you could just literally just sit there and spam it. To be honest, I kind of still just spam it on the last patch. So I'm probably still going to be able to spam it on this patch. But we'll see. All right, let's keep going. Thor, Hammer of Thunder, Hersa, favor passive has been reduced. Okay. This was kind of bonkers. It was kind of bonkers. I'm just going to leave it like that. Raven bonus. Yes! My Raven is now going to 3 minutes rather than 4 minutes. Now he is only 2 minutes and 50 seconds slower than the Hermes technology Pegasus respawn rate. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Okay. Hamask adjusted as follows. Berserk speed and attack speed increased on damage effect removed. Now gives 10% Berserk movement speed. Now gives 20% bonus damage versus myth units for Berserk. Wow. Hello, Odin spammage of Berserks. That's kind of sick. Now Odin has got like an answer to the mass myth unit play. I don't know how much this is actually going to do. 25% bonus damage versus myth units. I don't think this makes the Berserk like a counter unit. I think you're going to still need Hersa. But this is going to... Maybe you won't. Maybe you will. No, it's not going to be enough. This isn't making the Berserk a counter unit. This is just like a little bit of a push. Okay, I keep going. Bonus. Wow. Capitalization mistake here. Okay, 20% to 10%. Okay. People have been complaining about Loki being a little bit too good in certain situations. Interesting. Ses Rimnir adjusts as follows. Now enables Goaties to be trained and age sooner. Hero hit points increase, reduced from 20%. Oh, yes. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. That's actually insane for Norse. Do you know what this means? This means now Norse can go Freya and then build Goaty in the classical age. I can't tell you how happy I am about this. This is so good. Okay, Forseti. Hall of Thane's technology, infantry move speed reduced from 10% to 5%. That's a big nerf to Forseti. This was one of the big reasons that Forseti was performing so well, because you could just build Berserks, Huskal, Hersa, and just run around the map and cause havoc. And your opponent is like, well, how am I supposed to deal with that if my counter infantry are moving like a whole speed slower, like whole one movement speed slower, or that archers are moving like 4 speed versus 5.3. So at least it's going to be a little bit easier to chase them around. Okay, Heimdall, Yala, Horn, technologies reduced. Yeah, I'm still not sure what this technology does. It boosts the Einherry, but I don't build more than one Einherry. The favor for Heimdall is just better to go into Rigsthula, Safeguard, and then Heroic Age Myth units in my guesstimations. All right, let's keep going. Valgalder, research time reduced from 75 to 30. To Draugr, okay. That doesn't... Okay, Call of... I guess this is just for Freyr, right? Okay, Call of Valhalla technology. Favor earned from the Berserk on Death from 1 to 0.5. This was kind of stupid, because you could just go... Once you get this tech, especially in team games, maybe less so in 1v1s, but you could just like spam Berserks to their death because of like infinite resources. And then you just go, oh, now I have favor for another Flaming Weapon. So, oh, now I've got favor for another Fimbulwinter. And it's just a little bit silly. So that's kind of nice to see that that's been dealt with. Feast of Renown nerf. No. How will I ever play 0 food Frere again. I guess I just need to build double the amount of hill forts. This is really good. Yeah, this is really good. This technology was absolutely the best technology that Frere had, and allowed a lot of Frere's late game to just get out of control. So this is kind of nice. Sons of Slipnir gets boosted. Okay, that's nice. Raiding Cavalry just kind of stink against archers. Not really, but they do at the same time. Like you get all these Raiding Cavalry out and you're like, I should be able to kill the archers. And then the archers just sort of kill you. And you're like, what happened? And you're like, oh, they had like 5 hoplites and the rest archers, and the hoplites are able to tank enough that the archers did all the damage. So this will help a lot, I think. That'll be interesting. I still don't think you go Balder for Ragnarok. Oh! All right. Ragnarok population cost reduced from 3 to 2. What this does, and this might not be enough, but it's a step in the right direction, and I like that they did it just one little tiny bit at a time just to see. Because if it's not enough, they can still go one more. But what this does is it allows people to start building villages earlier on while the Ragnarok is going on. Which means if we have like a 2-minute Ragnarok where you're like fighting for 2 minutes and you're starting to lose units, you're going to be starting to build villages at the 30-second mark rather than at like the minute and 30-second mark. So you're going to be able to get that economy going straight away. And by the time it fizzles out, the goal would be that both players are hurt and both players are able to continue in the game, because that's realistically what you want. You want to have that fun Ragnarok fight, and then you want to be able to continue in the game. Or if you do it really well, win the game. Or if you do it really badly, lose the game. That would be your perfect like situation with Ragnarok. Okay, onwards and upwards. Herman adjusted as follows. 35 food to 45 gold. Got an extra 5 food cost, and train time increased by 0.5 seconds. This thing was doing really, really well. I like the food increase and not just nerfing it. I don't know if this is enough because it's still really good. 5 food might not seem like a lot, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it does end up doing something. But it might need a little bit more of a... You're a really good unit, right? Like if you compare it to, say, the Halberdier, for example, from China, that costs a ton of food. It could be interesting to go that way as well. Anyways, let's keep going. Raiding Cavalry boosted... That's actually... Oh, cool. Okay, so if we wind back to the Axeman that got a little bit more HP, and I was like, now the Axeman is going to be like better at countering the Raiding Cavalry, this counteracts that, because this thing is going to be able to do more damage, and thus that extra HP won't matter. Interesting. Okay. Dwarf gold gather rate reduced even further. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb and just say this is going to be rough for you Norse players. I think that this will ruin some build orders, most likely. At this point, I'm not sure. Maybe it won't. I think Norse players are going to struggle. Good luck. Good luck, my Norse brethren. But people have been saying that Norse is like the best god, and has been. We'll check the patch. We're going to check the god win rates after, and we'll see if this is justified. Okay, Oceanus weightless mace cost increase from 50 gold, 50 wood, 15 favor to 100 gold, 75 wood, 20 favor. Okay, very expensive now. This technology was bonkers. Okay, this is a good change. They are Poseidon's Secret, cavalry cost reduction reduced from 15% to 10%. This is still like auto grab, but you're just getting so much value when Gaia and Uranus both have got really good economies, especially like Uranus with Valor or Prometheus getting that Theft of Fire tech, and Gaia also having the extra economy boosted from having early eco upgrades. Just like getting that double package seemed a bit much from time to time. Helios, hack armor and siege weapons increased from 10% to 15%. Titanomachi technology cost reduced from 400 food, 20 favor to... I don't even know what this is. Oh, this is... Oh, this is the boost for the Hecagigantes. Okay. Just really cheap. I don't actually know if this would... I don't know what this even does. I'm sorry. I can't even tell you if that does anything. Hail of the Sun. Okay, nice. Big boost. Wait, where's Petrification? There. Still not sure that this is a technology I need to grab. I'm not sure it is. Argus are now going to be able to see to the moon. That's nice. And it's cheap. Okay. Okay. Atlas Implode adjusts as follows. Now only deals damage to units once. Are you kidding me? Rather than once per second when inside the sphere. Implode divine damage increase from 40 to 100 to accommodate the above. Implode escape and explosion damage radius reduced from 35 to 30. That means all archers die. That means all myth units survive. All high HP units survive. All like Hippias, Hoplites survive. Hippaspis maybe. So it's just the archers that are going to get dominated with this, right? Like, because like a base hoplite has got 115 HP. So like if it's got heavy upgrades, it's going to be close to 150 HP. A Hippias has got 150 HP to start with. There's going to be situations where you still get that feeling of Implode cleaning an entire army. But I don't think it's going to be that game-ending god power anymore. Which might mean we're going to start seeing Hecate more from Gaia players. And maybe even with the boost to Helios from Chronos players. Okay, Caladria. Pacify ability movement speed reduction from 50% to 33%. Pacify ability speed reduction increase from 50% to 60%. A nerf to the movement speed and a buff to the attack speed. I still hate this unit. I'm gonna wait to add judgment or lay judgment to this. Prometheans get a bit of a knock. Okay. The thing about the Prometheans is they're just a part of what you do with Prometheus. Like, whether they're strong or not strong, you're still going to be building these throughout the game. Or whether they're overpowered or like less powerful, you're still going to want to build these dudes. So I don't really think this changes anything. If this is like an attempt to stop Promethean spam, I think you still want to spam them, even if they're a little bit weaker. But this does mean that units like the Hersa are going to do more damage versus them. Hoplites are going to do more damage versus them. Things like that are going to be doing a bit better. The Dryads cost increased. Ooh! I like this. This is really good. I like the cost increase on wood is like whatever. Like, actually, no, that's kind of a big deal. That's a huge nerf. And that's a huge nerf. I'm a big fan. Let's keep going. I think this is huge. I think this is a really big nerf to Thea. All right, Caravalis are in Heroes adjust as follows. Attack range reduced, hack armor reduced. Okay, this is cool because these units were doing really well. But I like that they were doing well. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like we weren't even seeing them before. But giving a counter to this unit is nice. So the hack armor reduction here will allow like raiding cavalry to do a little bit better against them. And I guess infantry, the aim would be that infantry don't do well against them, which I think they still won't, even with this. Anyways, this is what we're all really wondering about. Quailfu Chieftain Technology, Hero Quailfu respawn timer increased from 2 to 4 minutes. Okay, so what does this effectively do? If I snipe a Quailfu Chieftain, now instead of him losing out on 2 times the gather rate, he loses out on 4 times the gather rate. But he still gets it back for free. Maybe we might see another change to the Quailfu Chieftain later. I'm hoping we see something. but I still don't like this. The reason I don't like this is if I kill something of my opponents, if I kill a villager, they still need to buy the villager to get it back out. So I get that 50 food damage done, and then I also get the timer going on. Like I want this unit to have to be bought again. If I kill it, I want it to be bought again. That's what I want for me personally. Anyone, maybe other people can argue with me about that, but that's what I want. But this is obviously more pain for losing the Cloud Food Chieftain for sure. It's going to feel like a raven. Okay, Prosperous Seeds goes down a bit. Farm gather rate increased. It might be good to use this early now. I'm going to have to see the gather rates. I still don't like farming early because I'm spending so many resources on the farms that I could otherwise be spending on other stuff. But anyways, this might be... Obviously, they want players to use the farms early. That's what they want. But it's like, if you want me to fast farm with Ra, I'm just not going to do it because I don't want to do it. It's not good. I don't want to spend the resources. There's food to gather on the map. Let me go gather that. But okay. How to Chasing the Sun adjusted. Build speed increased, reduced from 25% to 10%. Okay, good. This is the nerf I hate this god power with a fiery passion. Fae Beast. Now always spawn 7 Fae Beasts instead of scaling with age. Movement speed reduced from 6 to 5. Hit points increased from 55 to 75. Now have a minus 50% versus villagers. Okay, the question here is, do you want this god power to kill villagers or not? Because either a minus 50% multiplier versus villagers is going to do a world of good against very specific situations. Like, for example, if I've got a tower on a gold mine, I'll have a little bit more time to react to get my villagers into that tower and keep them alive, right? But if my villagers are out in the middle of the map trying to build this third town center and my opponent catches them and then drops Fae Beasts down, even with this minus 50% multiplier, it's going to take a bit longer to kill them off. I'm not sure how long. They're all going to die. And it's a game-ending gold power at that point. So it makes life very, very tricky. It really does. But with this move speed reduction, maybe it's less oppressive. I really hope they keep a really close eye on this god power. And like, there's going to be situations where you look at it in a game and it does nothing. And there's going to be but the small situations where it just absolutely ends a game, that's situations which I'm not a fan of. Like, if it does a little bit of damage and like kills off, like, I don't know, let's call it like 12 to 15 Peltast. Fantastic. That's a heroic age god power, right? But if it kills off an entire army, that's a mythic age god power, right? So you need to make sure that it's sitting in that realm of like, what is a heroic age god power? Anyways. Russia, Gilded Shields, pierce damage, pierce armor reduction on Dow Swordsman reduced from 25% to 20%. New bar, Scorching Feathers technology now also increases attack speed of all archers by 5%. Okay, so they want you to use fire. No, this is. Wait, is this the Chuko Nu tech that reduces armor? I think it is. Yeah, the armor one. Okay. So okay. I actually like Nubar. I kind of liked it. There was some really fun potential there, but because of this god power, you just weren't seeing it ever. And also the other one's really good as well. We'll see if anything gets touched there. Gong Gong, Tempestuous Storm. Okay, Gong Gong, Shaker of the Heavens. Okay, Huangdi, Liju, Silk. This was bonkers. Now it's a 10%, just like Frere's one, 10%. It's still going to be really good. Yuan, I'm sorry for my pronunciation. Infantry lifesteal and damage modifiers reduced from 30% to 25%. Huang Di Yinglong's Wrath. Yinglong Deluge ability temporarily removed. Yinglong can no longer be healed from Shenong's favored land. Yinglong special attack recharge time increased from 5 to 15. What does this mean? The Deluge is just removed? Sick. And also sick. Yeah, Yinglong shouldn't be able to heal itself. It's not like there's no... It doesn't work. You can't say the Son of Osiris is not allowed to be healed and then say, hey, Yinglong, you can be healed. You can't do that. It's not fair. Like Nidhogg can't be healed by the healing spring, yet Yinglong gets healed by Shenong's favored land. It's not... It's... whatever the word is. Okay. Zhurong, Blazing Prairie... Damage bonus multiplier versus buildings reduced from 5x to 3x. Blazing Prairie now has a bonus damage multiplier versus farms, so it doesn't kill farms. A reduction in the duration does reduce the damage, so that's a damage nerf to Zhurong, to Blazing Prairie. I wonder if this still kills off everything or if it's more in line with something like Earthquake. Okay, so chillin'. Special attack increase from... Okay, so it just does a little bit more stuff. Yatsu gets a bit of a hit point boost. Qinglong. Pierce damage increase from 50 to 80. What I want from this unit, personally, what I want from this unit is the area of effect to be reduced. So instead of it hitting the entirety of my army, it hits similar to what the Chimera hits. Now, with a movement speed reduction from 5.3 to 4.3, now all of a sudden I'm probably going to be able to kill this unit in a fight. So maybe it's good. Maybe this is like the unit's going to be something you build, get some damage done, dies, and it's all fine. So maybe this is like the right way to go. It's different than what I would have wanted, but maybe we'll wait. I hope they keep a close eye on this one as well, because this thing is oppressive. Very, very oppressive. So, yeah. All right. Kuafu Hero. Okay, this is the one. Gather, build, repair rate relative to a normal Kuafu reduced from 1.5x to 1.3x. Damage bonus multiplier for first Myth units reduced from 6x to 3x. Yeah, this thing is so bonkers. Okay, let's just move on. Pioneer. Bonus damage multiplier versus Myth units increased from 8x to 11x. Pierce damage reduced from 6 to 5. Pioneer's line of sight gained in classical age increased. I guess this is good. You want the hero to be a counter to myth units, not a counter to human units, which was kind of a counter to human units. Sky Lantern are no longer auto-attackable. Okay. Is there a fire lantern? I don't see the fire lantern. I'm looking for the fire lantern, the Mythic Age one. All right. Neja is now more expensive and movement speed has been reduced. This thing is really good. And I think it's fine for it. I think its classical age strength was fine. I think its heroic age strength was fine. I'm not sure about the mythic age strength, so it being reduced here, that's nice. It's not going to be able to run around the map and cause crazy havoc and like Bellerophon can. Okay, so, and this is the other one. We got Yang Wick. Special attack hit points recovered from damage. Maybe we can all just agree that this should be like 10% or 20%. But maybe this is enough and maybe it's going to be able to be killed. Damage radius reduced from 6 to 4. Movement speed goes down. Population increased. No longer regenerates. Okay. Keep an eye on him. Hopefully he's killable now. Li Jing, population goes up. Wang Zong. Population goes up. Okay, Dao's swordsman damage increased from 8 to 9. Okay. These weren't underperforming per se. if you had technology. So we'll see what happens there. Did I skip the lantern changes? No, I read these. They're easily killed and they're no longer auto-attackable. Can we keep going? Is that okay? All right. Chukonu. Bonus damage multiplier versus infantry, 1.25x. Removed? Hold on. I missed this one. Fire Archer. Bonus damage multiplier versus increase from 1.5x to 3x. Damage reduced from 5 to 4. Bonus damage multiplier versus buildings increased from 4x to 6x. Quick math says 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 1.5 is 7.5. That's a gigantic boost versus infantry, but this unit is going to be absolutely garbage versus everything else. I love it. I love it. Give me. Ah, that's wonderful. What does the Chukonu do now, though? Do I build this unit anymore? The Chukonu was doing really well versus ranged units. Like not countering them, but it was like dishing out more damage than, say, like a Chariot Archer was, or a Toxote was. I think maybe I'm wrong on that. But yeah, not doing damage versus the infantry now. Okay. I think this means that you're gonna. I wonder if China is gonna really struggle versus like units like Huskarl, even more so now. White Horse Cavalry bonus damage multiplier versus range soldiers increase from 1.5 to 1.7. What? Huh? Oh, I completely disagree with this. This unit was bonkers. This unit is so good. Kavoth, please back me up here. Kavoth's in the chat. I see his name. White Horse Cavalry was a really good unit, no? Okay. Now the White Horse Cavalry is even better. Yeah, super strong. Okay, Kavoth agrees with me. All right, so this unit is now bonkers. So prepare for the White Horse Cavalry to absolutely dominate. Siege Crossbow gets a boost. Thank you. We need that. Okay, Skyfire. Sky Lantern area damage reduced from 3 to 2. Does this do anything? I don't know. The fact that the Pioneer is nerfed and this is nerfed might mean that Fushi going for mass Pioneers into Skyfire, into just killing everything, doesn't work. Okay, buildings. Tower encampment adjust as follows. Cost reduced from 100 wood, 100 gold, 75 wood to 75 gold. Tower encampment research time. Okay, that's good. The tower encampment was seeing very little usage, with one exception, an aggressive forward build. These changes hope to make them more viable to use, but slightly less so in a rushing environment. It's like, we like that you came up with the strategy, with the thing with the tools we gave you, with the toys we gave you. We just don't like the way you're playing with our toys, okay? We want you to play with them over here, and you're playing with them over there. So can we just, defense is what we want, not offense. Can we? Okay, good. Earth Wall, Pierce Armor reduced. Oh, this should mean that you can actually escape from the Earth Wall if you've got Pierce Armor or Pierce damage dealing units getting trapped inside the thing. Right? Sick. That's actually good. This thing, it's not, you might even be able to knock it down with Pierce Armor dealing stuff. Okay, anyways, onwards and upwards. Random maps, updates to the standard map set. Added Mediterranean, Peach Blossom Land, Valley of Kings, Yellow River, and Arena. Okay, Arena, it's not in there. I just wanted to play on Arena. Okay, so Mediterranean, Peach Blossom Land, Valley of the Kings, and Yellow River. I can't remember what Yellow River is. I haven't played on it yet. Mediterranean we've seen before. This is a very big water map. Love it. Peach Blossom Land, absolutely killer map. It's going to be really fun to watch everyone play on this one. We saw a couple of games in Clash of Immortals with an insane game actually with Recon versus Rappel as well. So it's got a lot of potential for very fun games to get played. Valley of the Kings, I have played before, but I can't remember what it feels like. It's definitely not the Valley of Kings from Legacy, so don't get that mixed. And yeah, I don't know what Yellow River looks like, so apologies. But Anatolia out, Midgard out, Marsh and Elysium out. I think Anatolia and Midgard have seen their fair share of gameplay, so it's going to be fun to see some other sort of water maps in. Updates to the quick match set is Valley of the Kings and Yellow River. Okay, so Yellow River doesn't have any fish in it. That's what that means, because they don't put any maps with fish into the quick map set. So there's only 2 water maps here. And Savannah has slightly reduced berries and chickens in the starting area. Okay, so this is a big complaint from, I would say, the top 1% of the player base. I'm not sure if it's below. Maybe you guys can let me know. But they say that they don't like how much food is in the starting base. They want players to have to leave their base and go and gather resources. So Savannah having less food in the starting base will mean that players will need to leave their base and fight for stuff earlier, which is potentially good and potentially very rage-inducing, depending on what the matchup is. So be careful on this one. Lock it into your head. If you see Savannah, maybe pick one of those gods that's a little bit more powerful in the classical age so you can secure hunt. Otherwise, you might just get run over. All right, Pillars of Gods. Fixed a mismatch between... Okay, I don't know what's going in the campaign. I already played through it, so good that they're fixing that. Good that they're adding modern stuff, and we're finished. Well, what's on the horizon? Let's go. Hello, Myth players and community. We're excited to bring you this patch and balance update, as well as the news of our new year-long event, Pantheon Pinup. It's an opportunity to spend more time in one of your favorite games, unlock cool art, and have a fun along the way. Starting May 1st, we are also happy to announce a public update preview coming up in May on Steam, where we will show off an exciting new feature, so please keep an eye out for more info on our socials and forums for the coming weeks. Now to update some concerns that have been floating around through the forums regarding recent updates. As can be the case with rapid development and release, we would like to acknowledge that there has been some unintended bug escapes. We want to thank the community for bringing these things to our attention and to confirm that we are working to address them as time and resources allow. We are focused on many things like new content, but want the community to know that performance, crashes, and general quality always remains a top priority. Okay, I appreciate this. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of appreciate that they write this sort of stuff here, because it can be very frustrating it can be very frustrating when it feels like no one's doing anything. And I know that they're working on this stuff. I know that like this stuff is like, it's not, they don't want the bugs to be in the game. Like I know that happened. Like they don't want it to be in the game, but the fact that they're going to like own up that, yeah, they kind of screwed up and they're looking to fix all this stuff and working hard to fix it. That's good. So, okay, let's take a quick look now at AOM stats. Whoops. And look at the patch here. And look at the win rate. So this is the win rates all over, and say, how much does this actually work at the moment? So in the old patch, Poseidon, Kronos, Freyr, Odin, all this stuff here, this is from the all over ELO. You can see that the Egyptians are quite low, so they got a boost. You could see Gaia was actually quite low as well. It's a bit of a surprise there. You can also see that the Chinese were quite low as well. That's a surprise there as well, considering how strong they are. Fuxi doing quite well is not a surprise. Okay, let's take a quick look at maybe a little bit of a higher level here and see if this is where things are starting to shape up a little bit more into why we saw some stuff. We saw a little bit of a nerf to Atlantean and thing. We saw that there's the new War and Fuxi god starting to pop up here. The Atlanteans doing really well. And then Egyptians starting to come in. Greeks down the bottom here hurting a bit, but they did get a little bit of a boost, I think. And then let's go up to like top level-ish. This will be the top. That was the top 500. And this would be, if it's going to work. Go AOM stats. One last little hurrah for us. One last little hurrah. Let me in. Okay, there we go. And then this is at the top level, 70 players. Nuwa with a 73.97% win rate. This is the god. This is the highest win rate I've ever seen for a god at the top level. This is the second highest win rate I have ever seen. I have seen 60% before, but there's only 14 games being played, or 23 wins here. So highest win rate I've ever seen, second highest win rate I've ever seen. So yeah, China needed a nerf. Poseidon doing quite well at the top, by the way. Not sure why. He's obviously a very powerful god. And then everyone else down the bottom. And down the very bottom, you see Set, you see Isis, you see Ra. I mean, this is like a very small sample size, so you can't really take much from it. But yeah. I think the big winner in this patch is Egyptian. I think Egyptian's going to have a great time in this patch. I think China, we'll see if they're no longer as oppressive. I'm not sure. We'll see. I hope they aren't. Atlantean getting a hit was nice. They were doing very, very well in my opinion as well. Norse, I like that they gave Norse the access to deal with stuff while also toning down some of the stuff that made them really strong. I think that's a great approach. So that now they're going to feel like they don't have to deal with quote unquote abuse as much, and they're going to just be able to play a game, but they're not going to be able to find those wins that are just like, why did I win? I didn't do anything. So you're just going to have to outplay to win games like you should with everyone. So that's a nice little thing. And we'll see how the Greek changes go with their weakness against myth units and all the other good stuff. Anyways, long video, gigantic patch. Hope you enjoy.